Honey. It is one of the oldest foods known to humans. It's a tasty treat, but this remarkable substance of nature also has many other uses and benefits. Honey has been used for thousands of years as a sweetener, a medicine, a preservative, a cosmetic, and even a currency. It was highly valued by many civilizations, such as the Greeks, the Romans, the Chinese, and the Egyptians. It is mentioned in many ancient texts dating as back as the Egyptian hieroglyphs. But what exactly is honey, and how is it made? Honey is a complex mixture of sugars, water, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other compounds that bees collect from the nectar of flowers. Nectar is a sugary liquid that plants produce to attract pollinators, such as bees, butterflies, bats, and hummingbirds. Bees use their long tube-like tongues to suck the nectar from the flowers. They store it in a special organ called the honey stomach. Here, the nectar is partially digested by enzymes. When the bees return to the hive, they regurgitate the nectar into the mouths of other bees. The receiving bees then further process it by adding more enzymes and reducing the water content. Then, the bees deposit the nectar into the hexagonal cells of the honeycomb. The honeycomb is a wax structure that the bees build using glands on their abdomens. The bees then fan their wings to create air currents that evaporate more water from the nectar. They do this until it reaches the right consistency and becomes honey. The cells are then sealed with wax caps to protect the honey from moisture and invaders, such as ants, moths, and bears. One of the most fascinating properties of honey is that if stored properly, it lasts forever. Literally. But how is that possible? It is because honey has a very low water content. It is nearly impossible for microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi to grow in it. Honey also has a high acidity, which inhibits the growth of pathogens. Moreover, it contains hydrogen peroxide, which is a natural antiseptic that kills harmful germs. In fact, honey is so effective at preventing spoilage that it can even preserve other foods. The ancient Egyptians revered honey very much and were well aware of its benefits. It was not only a valuable food source, but also a ritual offering, a medicine, a cosmetic, and also a currency. It was used to sweeten cakes, breads, fruits, and drinks, such as wine and beer. Honey was also used to treat wounds, infections, burns, and eye diseases, as it has anti-inflammatory and healing properties. Considered a symbol of immortality and purity, honey was also used to honor the gods and the dead. One of the most remarkable uses of honey by the ancient Egyptians was as a natural preservative for mummification. The ancient Egyptians believed that the body was the vessel of the soul, and that it had to be preserved intact for the soul to recognize it and reunite with it in the afterlife. To enhance the preservation and protection of the body, the ancient Egyptians used various substances, such as resins, oils, spices, and honey. Honey was especially effective in preventing the decay and decomposition of the body, as it created a barrier against moisture, bacteria, and insects. It was also believed to have magical and spiritual powers, as it was associated with the sun god Ra, who was the source of life and resurrection. The ancient Egyptians also used honey to preserve other things, such as fruits, meats, cheeses, and even animals. They would place these items in jars or baskets and fill them with honey, creating a sort of honey pickle. These honey preserves were either consumed as delicacies or buried as offerings in the tombs of the pharaohs and the nobles. Some of these honey preserves have been discovered by modern archaeologists, and they are still intact and edible after thousands of years. For example, in 1922, the tomb of Tutankhamun, the famous boy king, was found in the Valley of the Kings. Among the many treasures and artifacts that were found in the tomb, there were also jars of honey that were still liquid and sweet. Another property of honey is that it has different flavors and colors, depending on the source of the nectar. There are about 320 different varieties of honey, which vary in color, odor, and flavor. For example, linden honey is delicate and woodsy. Buckwheat honey is strong and spicy. And eucalyptus honey has a subtle menthol flavor. The color of honey ranges from almost clear to amber to dark brown, depending on the type and amount of pigments, minerals, and antioxidants in the nectar. Honey has many health benefits, both internally and externally. It is a natural source of energy, as it contains simple sugars, such as glucose and fructose, that are easily absorbed by the body. It also contains amino acids, vitamins, minerals, iron, zinc, and antioxidants that support various bodily functions and boost the immune system. Honey has been used for centuries as a natural remedy for various ailments, such as coughs, wounds, burns, stomach ulcers, and allergies. It has anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties that help to soothe, heal, and prevent infections. It also has prebiotic and probiotic effects that help to maintain a healthy gut flora and digestion. It can also improve the skin, hair, and nails, as it moisturizes, nourishes, and protects them from damage and aging. Honey is a wonderful and versatile substance that can be used in many ways. It can be eaten as it is, or added to various foods and drinks, such as tea, yogurt, cereal, bread, pancakes, salads, sauces, and desserts. It can be used as a natural sweetener, a preservative, a flavor enhancer, and a food coloring. It can also be used as a beauty product, a medicine, a wound dressing, a cough syrup, and a skincare product. Honey is a truly amazing and delicious product of nature that has many properties, uses, and benefits. It is made by bees, from the nectar of flowers, and it never spoils. It has different flavors and colors, depending on the source of the nectar, and it has many health benefits, both internally and externally. Honey can be used in many ways, from food to medicine, from beauty to art. It is a sweet gift from the bees that we should appreciate and enjoy.